Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
When I saw this, I was like, holy shit, what is that?
You ever imagine yourself that kid wearing a power glove? It didn't work like that.
No.
Stop on.
Dude, I was like, oh my god, he's steering the car with his hand. Like life did not get better than this.
No. It wasn't that easy. Was not that easy. Nope.
Jeez. I love the power glove.
I love the power glove.
It's so bad.
It is bad. You're exactly right. It was fucking terrible.
All right, let me close this. All right.
All right. So, the Power Glove came out in 89. This hunk of shit was $100. Real quick, let me see what that would cost in today's money. What you would have to put down. What is it called? Inflation calculator. So, in 1989, if you were to drop money on this garbage, let's see. If you were to spend $100 in 1989, you would have spent $250. Well, nope. That's last year. Oh, I guess as far back as it goes. So let's say $250.
$250 for that.
You spent $250 on that. Okay. So my brother got one. So let me give you the breakdown of how this thing worked. All right. So we all saw The Wizard. Everybody saw it. You know, we're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. And I remember my brother wanted one for Christmas. So Santa Claus brought him one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were amped. We were hyped. We're like, oh my God, we've stepped into the future. You know? Okay. So when you get this thing, you have to put these sensors up on your TV. And you have to have the right size TV. Because if it's too small, it crunches up. If it's too big, it stretches out. So it's not perfect. So it has to be like just a normal basic, whatever they were back then, like the tube TV type deal. All right. So then when you get it, you think it's just, we're about to hook it up and go, right? It's about to do everything we want it to do. No, sir. That's not how it works.
Before you continue, let's talk about the size of the glove.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember, I think it was my brother or something. He ripped like the middle index finger. I mean, it's obviously made for kids, but they don't advertise it. And some of those advertisements, they showed adults playing with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't meant for people with bigger hands. Like me, dude, if I put that thing on today, that thing would just be shredded.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember I remember when I was a kid it being snug.
Yeah, no. It was terrible. So anyway, when you got the thing, you thought it was plug and play. Because that's what they showed. They didn't explain any of this. None of their commercials explained what you had to do, right? No. What it did was it came with a booklet. You had to put in a code for every game that you wanted to play.
Yeah.
Now, so you had to type in beep, beep, boop, bop, boop, bop, bop, and it was like 5 minutes of code. And then if you messed up, you had to start over. So it was a headache. So anyway, when you got one, right? Let's just say you got one. Let's just say Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? Okay. So you can actually punch, right? But it doesn't move the way it wants to. It wasn't smooth like the Wizard, right? Because the sensors weren't that precise. Whatever they did for that show was, I think that was like the prototype. That had to be the prototype.
Off to the side playing it with
had
the
to have, exactly.
Yeah, they weren't doing
exactly. Because
they'd have to make like 50 cuts just to get it right.
This thing was so bad that you would get beat by Glass Joe every time. because it didn't move. If it punched, it didn't move, and stuff like that. So it was frustrating. So come to find out, this thing was actually made for like Rad Racer and like 3 other games only, precisely. Right? It worked. And it did work for Rad Racer like that. It did.
Yeah.
And there was only like 3 other games that it worked precisely for. Every other game was just kind of like, we'll just take a chance on this if it works. You would think this game would have been good for Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? No, it was terrible for Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
It was terrible for 90% of the games.
It was terrible for every game.
For.
Yes. Could you imagine playing like an RPG on this thing? Could you play Final Fantasy on this thing?
But yeah, the Power Glove.
It was cheaply made.
Garbage.
Yeah. No, dude, it was cheaply made.
By Mattel.
Yeah, and the thing about it, everything was so cool. Like, oh, we got the power. It's in your hand. Oh, you know what I mean?
Everything was cool. Movie, everything. They hyped it up a lot. And it being just a piece of trash.
So, like, if you look on this thing, like, if you look at this picture right here.
Yeah.
And 90% of this crap didn't work. Like, you can actually. So, what was the point of having the gamepad on here? Like, what was the? I guess it's to move. It was to move the stuff, right? But you can actually play with the gamepad on the glove, like if you wanted to. Like, what's the point of all that?
I would probably say
this was the worst. This was the biggest failure.
All the accessories, major accessories, this was one of the biggest failures.
This was the biggest failure. This was awful.
Even Virtual Boy was better.
I don't. Virtual Boy was pretty bad.
It was better than the Power Glove. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know if you.
At least you could play tennis very smoothly on a Virtual Boy.
Yeah, but it didn't cause migraines.
Mario Tennis or whatever it was.
It didn't cause seizures and migraines from staring. From staring. Like, you remember the golf game on Virtual Boy? We're going to talk about the Virtual Boy later. Well, like, why was everything red? Why was the red the color that they chose?
I don't know.
Terrible.
Dude. And it wasn't really virtual.
None of it was virtual. Zero.
There's nothing about it was virtual.
So anyway, I remember
it's kind of 3D-ish, like when you put the headset on, but it wasn't like anything like special. It's basically just putting a screen in front of your eyes that was, like just red lines. Every game was just red lines.
So the thing about this was, is like, okay, so let's just say you played concert, right? Well, if you moved let me get on camera. So let's say I got the glove on, right? Mm-hmm. So if you do this, like this will shoot this one right here, but like you'll shoot. You do this right here with your hand, it'll shoot, right?
Yeah.
But you're still having to like go, like how do you go, right? So next thing you know, you're doing this to move forward. So this is what it looks like. You're doing this and this and this and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, it looks like you're throwing up gang signs because you're trying to jump and you're just doing all this stuff to do all that. And then you got stuck and then you died. Terrible.
Nelson has a good point.
Yeah, I forgot about the R zone.
Worst. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
dude.
I forgot about that. Is that the ones? Was the R zone the one with the pods? Was that the one that you had to like scan the pods? I can't remember. Is that what that was?
Is the
Oh, that's the one that went on your face.
The console thing.
That's the one. Is that the one
console.
That's the one that went over your eyes.
Is the portable game console? You remember?
Yeah. What's the one that went over your eyes? It was supposed to be like a console that it was like a with the had like the screen that you looked in, and it was like a mask or like a little thing. I can't remember what it was.
Well, this one had like a headset you put on. But I remember them. I remember when they were selling them. I never got one, but I remember when they were selling them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a headset, but did the screen go over your eye like a cyborg?
Yeah, it's like the little. It was like you're scanning someone's power level.
Yeah, it looked like a scouter. That's right.
Yeah. That's probably where they got the idea from. Who knows?
But I tell you what though, this right here, the Power Glove, moving it around and stuff like that, will make you very popular with the ladies. Just telling you. I'll teach you some techniques up in there because you have to move and jump around. I'm saying.
Yeah, Nelson.
That's it. Yeah, okay. That's right. It was. You're right. That's why I went over your eye. I forgot that. It looked like a scouter.
It was basically a piece of plastic.
That was terrible.
All right.
Nintendo also had one, and I can't remember what it was called. So it was like all it was a piece of plastic, right? It was like a square piece of plastic, and you put your controller in there, so you didn't have to hold the controller. You just played it on the piece of plastic, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
Remember the touchpad too? You remember you like walk on it?
Oh yeah, that was supposed
to controller.
that was supposed to get people to exercise, but it
Yeah.
never worked because
Yeah, it was like the Wii Fit.
everybody just got on the
That
floor and
thing,
they
like,
tapped it. They tapped it with their hands like that.
That went away quick too.
The power pad. It was the power pad.
Power pad, yeah. Okay, Grant. I think we're done with Power Glove, dude.
Man.
I think that's enough discussion on the Power Glove.
But if you had a Power Glove and it was still sealed, you'd have a lot of money on your hands because those things are collectible.
Oh,